they'll be like, oh, you hold babies all day. And I'm like, no, I'm a labor and delivery nurse. I hold them all. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, if you guys are new, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and of course watch this video all the way through. So if you guys are new here, my name is Bria. I am a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse. It's been almost a year since I've been a registered nurse. So for those of y'all who don't know, I did go through a residency program. So if you guys want more information about that, I do have 2 videos all about the nurse residency, because I'm not really going to get too much into that because I do have some very in-depth videos on that. So today we are going to talk about what I wish I knew before becoming a labor and delivery nurse. Let's get right into the video. As you guys know, I did go through a nurse residency. As I said before, for my nurse residency, we did have to float different floors, and labor and delivery was my favorite floor. I actually did go right into labor and delivery being a new grad. Now, would I suggest that at this point? I don't know. Like, it's kind of like a catch-22, y'all, because I do work at a slow hospital and we don't have patients every day. So some days I feel like it is a little bit harder because you are not exposed to things as often as you would be exposed to it if you work in a larger hospital. I do feel like our training is adequate. Like, we have 6 months of labor and delivery orientation. I feel like that's enough. Like, I feel like once I get off for orientation, like, I'll be okay, you know. Of course I'm still be nervous, but I feel like I will be okay. I have a little list right here of all the things that I wish you would have known. This is not in any particular order. So the first thing that I just touched on was how long orientation was. So at my hospital, to be a labor and delivery nurse, you have to do 3 months of training on postpartum and then 6 months on labor and delivery. And I didn't know that. So all the people in my nurse residency, everybody chose different floors that they wanted to work on. So pretty much everybody is already up orientation, and me and the other girl in labor and delivery, we're still in orientation. So I didn't know that orientation was going to be pretty much almost a year. But I do know that that's a good amount of time for me to feel comfortable, was the 6 months of labor and delivery. That's just another thing to keep in mind, that different hospitals, they have different times of orientation. So with L&D, you will be on orientation just a little bit longer because it is a specialty and it is very high risk. So that's just something to keep in mind, y'all. Next thing I have on here is labor and delivery comes with a lot of anxiety, y'all. Like, I knew it was gonna be anxiety, but I didn't know it was gonna be like this. It's very, very intense, very fast paced. It's really like you don't have time to, some days you really don't have time to think and just take a deep breath and like get yourself together. You'll be charting and then 1 second a patient screaming and then you have to deliver a baby, or you're helping your patient push, all of a sudden, oh, she can't push no more, stat C-section, and you're literally like running around like a crazy person. And for me, like in the learning stages, that was hard for me because I need to prepare myself. Like, I need to just get my mind together, take a deep breath, regroup. And for stat C-sections, like in the beginning, I did not have time to do that. So I would get to the C-section, I would just be flustered, and it just would not be good. I did have to like get past that, and I had to really get on it and just know what I was doing. Like, regardless if it's stat, regardless if it's a scheduled C-section, I had to learn. I had to know what to do. Labor delivery, like, it's a lot of learning, and I really had to understand all the steps of a C-section, all the steps of a stat C-section, because I don't want to get in a C-section and just be flustered because I didn't have time to prepare myself. So now it's like I've been through those situations, and now I know like what to do in a stat, what to do in a schedule, so I won't be as flustered. But y'all, in the beginning, y'all, when we had that C-section, first that C-section, it was a lot, y'all. I like wanted to go home and cry. I wanted to cry on the shit. Like, it was a lot, especially if you have like those doctors that are really nitpicky and really like you know, stuck in their ways and not understanding that you're a new grad, you haven't been doing this but a few months, and they expect you to just be running around knowing everything and being perfect. Whew, it was rough, y'all. It was rough, but I'm gonna do probably a few story times to tell you guys like some of the situations that I've been through, like with the doctors and with like stats and all of that. This is a very, very, very high anxiety environment, and it's not for everybody, y'all. I'm gonna say that now, like it's not for everybody unless you know for sure this is what you want to do. The next thing is, this was crazy because I really was not expecting this. Like, I'm thinking I'm out of nursing school, I don't have to do no more studying. You're gonna have to do a lot of studying in labor and delivery. So for me, like when I first started, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I was not, I don't know, like I thought I was more so I have to do it to learn it, which is still true. I still have to do it to learn it. However, there's things that you just have to know. Like, you don't have time to do it and learn it. For example, the medications, labor and delivery, you have about maybe 15 medications that they use, and that's it. So you need to learn those 15 medications, the side effects, contraindications, the route, the dosages, how often you can take it. Like, you need to know all of that, especially at my hospital, because we have a lot of residents and sometimes they don't be knowing what they're doing. So the nurse has to step in and be like, hey doctor, that's not right, like this should be the dosage, and you as a nurse need to know that. So there's a lot of studying, y'all. There's a lot. Being at my hospital is slow. I'm grateful that some days I do have time to study on the job, but you also have to study when you get home. I hate to tell you guys, but it's gonna be times where you're gonna have to study at home because work is gonna be so busy. You don't have time to go over your notes. You're gonna have to study at home, especially if you know you have like a induction the next day or a C-section next day. You need to be going over all the medications used for induction. You need to go over the steps and procedures during the C-section. Like, you need to go over all of that before your shift or after your shift. If you do learn something and you don't have time to go over it at work, definitely research it when you get home. I know for me, I'm like, I'm not studying at home. Like, I'm not about to be studying at home. I did 3 years in nursing school. I've been in school all my life. Like, I'm not about to study at home. They don't pay me enough for that. But I realized that studying at home was absolutely necessary to be a good labor and delivery nurse. The thing with that is, I said we have a lot of classes that we have to go to. So we do have a lot of classes that we have to go to on our off days. I know it sucks. So you can end up working 3 days a week, and then you have like a 12-hour class you have to do, or you have to have like an 8-hour class that you have to do on your off day, unless you're just like a genius and you just read it at work and then you memorize it forever. Then great for you. For the most part, there is going to be some times where you're going to have to go over notes and go over medications and stuff at home. Another thing I have about what I wish I would have known before being an L&D nurse. A lot of people say like it's going to take 2 years to feel like you're a good L&D nurse. What's the word, novice? I don't know what's the one that's on top over novice, because novice is new, right? And it's another one that, it's another word that they use, some kind of nurse that's like, I don't know the word, but y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all know, leave me a comment below what's the word I'm thinking about. But it's gonna take 2 years to feel like you're like an adequate and good nurse. So that's just something to keep in mind, because I know some days, well, now it's not so bad, but before, y'all, I would feel like I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not catching on. Like, this is hard. Like, it would be days where I'm like, I'm not a good nurse. Like, this is not good. I always feel like I'm confident on the job. Like, all my jobs in the past, I'm like, okay, I know this. Like, I'm catching on quickly. I'll be taught something and then I could do it the next day. But labor and delivery will feel like, damn, am I a slow learner? Like, this is hard. It will really have you feeling like, dang, like, I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm not catching on. Am I ever gonna get it? Am I ever gonna do good? You're gonna have those days where you just feel like you're not good enough, wondering if this is for you, wondering, is it me? Like, am I slow? No, you're not, y'all. It's hard. Like, it really is hard. But I just want y'all to know, like, if y'all interested in labor and delivery, it's hard, but like, you're gonna get it. You just need to put that effort in so you can become that great nurse that you want to be. And you just need to put yourself out there to more learning opportunities. You need to keep doing the things over and over again. You need to put the pieces of the puzzle together, like why you do this and when you do that and what to expect. Like, you just gotta like really buckle down and just get your mind in it, and you'll do good, y'all. The next thing I have is, depending on the hospital, interaction with the baby may be limited. I'm 74. Like, my main goal is to be a pediatric nurse, and the hospital I was hired on didn't have a peds, so I said, okay, labor and delivery is the closest thing to peds, and I want action, so I'm not going to choose the nursery because I feel like that's no action. So let me choose labor and delivery because it's the closest thing. It's going to give me the action I want, and I'm going to be close to the babies. Well, we don't have much interaction with the babies. So at my hospital, how we have it is we have labor and delivery nurse, we have a nursery nurse, and we have a NICU nurse who could be nursery and NICU, but you have to be like certified to do NICU. So not all the nursery nurses are certified to do NICU, but the NICU nurses do nursery, if y'all get what I'm saying. So the nursery nurse, they'll come to the deliveries to catch the baby. So when they say catch the baby will come out, and the first person to go to is either the mom. If the baby's okay, it'll go on their mom's chest. If the baby's not okay, it'll go to the nursery nurse first. But pretty much after the baby touches the mom skin to skin, it'll go right to the nursery nurse. So as a labor and delivery nurse, like, I really don't have much interaction with the baby. And even after the patient delivers, we keep them for 2 hours max, unless they're on magnesium, then they'll stay for 24 hours. But for the most part, the patient is out off our floor 2 hours after delivery, and we don't see the baby. And so sometimes even after they deliver, the baby goes straight to nursery. They don't stay in the mom's room. So I like don't have much interaction with the baby. Like, even just holding the baby, I don't really be holding them like that, because like, for what? Most of the time they're pretty much on their mom's chest. So I don't have no need to hold the babies. That is something that I wish I would have known, because I'm thinking like I'm gonna have more interaction with the baby, but that's not true. I wish I would have known that, because I may have picked nursery or NICU. There are some instances where we do have to deliver the baby and we do have to catch the baby, but those instances are very rare. So it's happened twice, I believe, where the mom delivered in a bed and we had to actually catch the baby, and that was probably like twice. That's the only time, really. That is something to keep in mind. Like, if you're going to labor and delivery thinking like, oh, I'm about to be with babies all the time, like, no. Like, a lot of people get that misconception. They'll be like, oh, you hold babies all day, and I'm like, no, I'm a labor and delivery nurse, I hold the mom. That is something that I didn't know. However, some hospitals are a little different, and they do allow the nurse to deliver the baby and then be the baby's nurse the whole time that the patient's in the hospital. I'm trained for postpartum, but I'm not trained for nursery, so I really don't be knowing what to do with those babies. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I do know like a little bit from postpartum, but even in postpartum, like, if the patient is having questions about their baby, you'll tell them to call the nursery nurse. But like I said, it is different at different hospitals, so it could be different at another hospital. You could follow your patient all the way through their whole hospital visit, but my hospital just is not like that. So the last thing I have on my list is I probably should have started out with this, but I didn't. What I wish I would have known, I wish I would have known how painful and serious this ish can get. I don't have kids. I've never seen, before I became labor and delivery, I haven't seen anybody deliver. I don't have kids, so I didn't experience it, so I didn't realize it hurt. The patient is in pain. Like, I knew it hurt, but I didn't know it was like this. Sometimes I feel like, dang, maybe I can't relate because I don't have kids. It's hard for me to understand the patient's pain. I do be feeling like that sometimes. It'll be instances, patient has an epidural, patient got pain medicine, the anesthesiologist come to the room, make sure the epidural is working right, but the patient is still in pain, still screaming, still like wanting more. And it's like, you gotta tell them like it's gonna hurt. There have been plenty of times where we got to tell them, I'm sorry, but you're just gonna be in pain. Sometimes it kind of like bothers me because it's like, dang, I wish I could do something, but at the same time, it's like we literally done everything, like it's gonna hurt. And sometimes it is, I'm not gonna lie, like it is hard to understand what the patient's going through because I haven't been through it, and it's hard to imagine that somebody could be in that much pain, but they can. There are different things you can do for pain management, like you can get them to stand up, to walk around, you can play some music. However, they have an epidural and most of the time they can't get up, so you can play some music for them, but for the most part, like they're gonna feel that pain and pressure. You just gotta learn how to just comfort your patient and use words of encouragement. I want to tell you this story time so bad. Like, it's a long story. It was probably like the worst everything of my entire nursing career, but pretty much the patient was in so much pain the whole time. She was in so much pain where she couldn't even speak. Like, I'm going in the room like, hi, I'm your nurse, you know, I'm gonna do your vitals, what's your pain level? And she's just like in so much pain. Like, everything I would ask her, everything that I would say to her, she would be in so much pain, like she would just ignore me. And like, I understand like you're in pain, but I'm just like, I'm trying to help you. Like, can you just like answer my questions? Like, you're not answering. Like, she was literally not, just ignoring. Like, I was literally ignored for the 2 days that I had her. She was in so much pain. I was ignored for 2 days. Like, y'all think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. I was ignored for 2 days. So it's like, it's instances like that. I know, like, once I give birth, it's gonna be like, now I see. I can say that labor and delivery is probably one of the specialties that you have to use your therapeutic communication the most, because you have to help the patient push, you have to help them with their pain, and you're using that therapeutic communication a lot, especially if they're having these cells and you keep running in the room, and you can't run in the room frantic and nervous. That would make the patient nervous. That's all that I have for you guys. If y'all want a part 2 or you want some more story times about my L&D experiences, leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.